Welcome to Food in a Flash. I'm Sharon Glass, and today we're making a lunch for the ladies. It's a creamy tomato soup, a seared tuna salad with a couscous underneath, some health breads, and finishing with a beautiful fresh mango sorbet. As a self-taught cook and cooking teacher of 27 years, I have a passion for what I do, and as a mother, I know how rewarding it is to see my family happily tucking into a wonderful meal that I have prepared. I also know what it's like to be a busy mom and still have to think about getting dinner on the table. It's not always easy, but it doesn't have to be complicated. That's why I started teaching and writing cookbooks, to show people just how wonderful it can be to cook and enjoy and still have time and energy to do the important things in life. I hope I can get you to become confident in the kitchen, have fun, and above all, create some beautiful, simple meals that you and your family will absolutely love. So we're going to start with the breads, and I'm going to prepare the trays. Basically, I've got little mini loaf tins. They're quite cute. And I'm going to spray them so that the bread doesn't stick. And then I'm going to sprinkle some of the seeds that I'm using in the actual dough into the base. These are the seeds. It's a mixture that you buy already mixed, and it's got pumpkin seeds and sesame seeds and linseeds and all kinds of things. And you just sprinkle a few on the bottom of the tin. Basically what I have is some whole wheat flour, some more mixed seeds. This is oat bran from the health section, but you could take jungle oats and grind them in the food processor. You could use some bran flakes if you have. And then we've got some ordinary white flour. And if you didn't want to use this, you could use the whole thing with whole wheat flour. Plus some yeast and a little bit of salt. We always want to use salt because the salt gives it that flavor. So what we're going to do is mix all the dry ingredients together. My oat bran, my whole wheat flour, the seeds, the cake flour, and the yeast. Because I'm doing a half quantity, I'm just going to use half of this packet. Perfect. And we're just going to stir that together. It's very important to mix everything well, that the yeast mixes in with all the flours, and I need a little bit of salt. So let me just give it a nice, you can see I don't really measure, but the salt brings out the flavor in the bread. And now we want to add our moist ingredients, and here it's very important that the water's not too hot. Water when it's hot kills yeast, so we don't want to do that. So what we want to do is take some, I've actually mixed a bit of boiling water with some cold water. We have some sunflower oil. You could use a light olive oil if you like. And a little bit of honey. So we basically are going to mix them all together. That's about 2 tablespoons. And the secret with this dough is that it's more moist than dry. So rather add a bit more water if you feel that it's a little bit dry, because the water will really make it fluffy. You don't want them too doughy either. So they're going to go straight into the tins. They're going to rise for about 30 minutes in the tins and straight into a 200-degree oven that's been preheated. You can see it's a little bit dry. Okay, this looks almost right. I'm going to just feel it. You want it kind of spongy. Can you see it's moist, so it kind of sticks to your fingers? That's when you know that the texture is actually right. Now, they're going to double in size in those tins. So what we want to do is we want to fill them about 3/4. And it doesn't even need to be put into the tins and patted nicely or anything. You can see how simple this is. And for me, there's nothing nicer than a homemade fresh bread, because it's just got that flavor like it comes from home. It's not from the bakery. Now I'm going to brush them with some oil and sprinkle some more seeds on top so that the seeds stick. This is the same sunflower oil. Some seeds. And they're ready to rise. and we'll look at them in about 30 minutes. So let's make our tomato soup. It's so easy, it really takes a few minutes and it just goes in the oven. I've got some tinned tomatoes. I like to use these, they're little cherry tomatoes in tins, but chopped tomatoes work perfectly, and Italian ones. You want to use Italian ones because they really are sweeter than local ones. So it's 2 tins, and you could double this if you like. And then I'm going to put a little bit of black pepper, some salt. Always with tomatoes, we always put a little bit of sugar. It brings out the sweetness in them. If you wanted to use honey or some brown sugar, you could do that. And a bit of olive oil. A nice fruity olive oil which gives it some flavor. And into the oven it goes, about 180 degrees, and it should take 30 minutes. These are tomatoes that I've already roasted, so they've slightly squished and I know they're ready, and all I'm going to do is mix them with some stock. I'm going to use a vegetable stock because we're making a vegetarian soup. So I've mixed about 2 cups. I've got some basil that I'm going to use as well. And I'm going to blend it and add a bit of yogurt if I want to. You don't have to, you could actually just do it plain if you like. And because I've used this liner, what's so wonderful is that I can just pick it up like that and pour it into my jug without messing. Let's add the stock. So it's about 2 cups. Whoops. And then we want to blend without the basil first. We'll add it later because we want to see how it tastes. And add the yogurt also. Now this can be made with fresh tomatoes because you get beautiful rosa tomatoes, the mini ones, the bigger ones, and some people don't like to use the tinned ones. We'll put a bit of basil in there just to bring out the flavor, and I just want the leaves, and the machine will actually do the chopping, so that works beautifully. A bit of yogurt. And this is perfect for ladies. They want something light, something fresh. You want to serve it warm, you could serve it cold if you like. And it's delicious in summer when it's a hot summer's day. And I'm going to put it into this beautiful jug, because I always like serving things in beautiful containers. You know, it gives it an elegance. It makes it really, really beautiful. Let's put some basil on top just to decorate. A few basil leaves. And a little swirl of some yogurt just to kind of finish it off. Just swirl it in. There's our delicious soup for the ladies. Well, when we come back, we'll be making a tuna salad with a bed of couscous, and we'll be baking those breads. Welcome back to Food in a Flash. We've made a delicious tomato soup and my breads have risen and they're about to go in the oven and bake for about 30 minutes. They look fabulous, they've puffed and they're ready to go. We're going to make our seared tuna now, but I want to show you how to make couscous. It's so simple, and I've got some water boiling. Always equal quantities of water to couscous. The secret is a little bit of oil in the water. What that does is just stop the couscous from sticking together. And a pinch of salt or a bit of stock powder. Add your couscous. Turn off the stove. It's very important that you turn the stove off. Give it a good stir. And there's nothing else to do. But what you do need to do is come back to it in about 2 minutes and just keep stirring. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is that the couscous starts sticking together and it becomes big lumps. So we must keep an eye on it. And while we're letting that sit, I'm going to put my pan on the stove to heat. So I'm going to put a bit of grapeseed oil in the pan to get the pan quite hot. Rather than olive oil, it's much healthier for you. So it can go to a much higher temperature. And the oil will spread in here, so I'm not going to put too much. Just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Tuna is quite delicate, so if you put it on a grilling pan with sesame seeds, it's likely to burn. So what I've got is a bowl here, and I have white and dark sesame seeds. These are actually black ones from the Chinese shop, and it looks fantastic on the tuna when you mix both of them together. And I've got some beautiful fresh tuna steaks, and they need to be quite thick because we want to serve them a little bit undercooked inside. So let me get them. They're pink, they're gorgeous. I'm going to rub them with a drop of olive oil so that my seeds stick, and season them with some salt and pepper. Just a little bit to give them a bit of a coating. And you want your pan to be quite hot because it's such a quick cooking. It must go in and out literally about 2 minutes on each side, maybe even a little bit less. My oil is perfect because it's just coating the bottom. It's not deep frying at all. And what we're going to do is just dip our tuna into those sesame seeds. It gives it a lovely crust. Okay, into the pan. And you can hear that sizzle, then you know that it's ready. And this is quite nice because you don't need a lot. You're going to slice it thinly after it's cooked. So it actually goes quite far. I mean, one could use 2 or 3 and that would really be enough for quite a nice big salad. I'm just going to swirl this so that it coats the tuna. And the idea is not to turn it too much because if I start playing with it, those sesame seeds are going to fall off and it's going to look terrible. So we'll just leave them for a few minutes. And then while we're waiting, let's cut our vegetables that are going to go into the salad because it's a very simple summery salad. And what we want to use are mango. I have some avo and a little bit of red onion. So we'll just get all that ready so that as soon as our tuna is ready, we can put it onto a plate. So what we want to do is turn that tuna. It's perfect. It hasn't burnt the sesame seeds. I can see I've just got that white. And if I can press it with the back of the lifter, it's a little bit firmer. So now this needs about another minute or 2. And let's check our couscous while we're waiting. So if I stir this and mash it, you can see how the couscous, it's absorbed all the liquid. There is nothing to cook really. It's a matter of steaming. The trick though is not to seal it when it's hot. So now what I would do is leave the lid off, let it cool, and then use it. Because if I put the lid on, it's actually going to go sour. We'll leave it in the pot until we're ready to use it and let it cool on its own. I think they're ready. And also when they rest, they're easier to actually manage to cut them. And let's make some dressing. So this needs to match the whole feel, which is summery and citrusy. So I'm going to use some orange rind, a little bit of honey. I've got a chili, a little bit of kick. We're changing oils because we're doing a salad, so we're going to use a lighter oil, a nice salad oil, and we're going to put a bit of lime juice. So I've got a lovely blend of flavors here, and that's really going to match beautifully with my fresh ingredients. A couple of tablespoons of oil. Okay, that's about fine. A little bit of chili. Everybody likes a little pinch to give a bit of a kick. More of a kick, okay. And the fresh limes are fabulous, but you could use bottled lime juice, lemon juice if you don't have fresh limes. Okay, so this is my acid coming in here. A little bit of lime juice to give it a bit of a kick. And they're tiny and quite dry, so we need more than one. And a bit of honey just for sweetness. So we'll give it a good tonk. Salt and pepper. And then let it sit because that salt needs to dissolve. So we'll whisk it up. And it's fresh, delicious, beautiful, and ready to go. Right, here's my beautiful crisp butter lettuce. Let's slice the tuna first and then we'll assemble the whole thing. So I want to just slice them that they're not too big and that they sit beautifully on the salad. And you should see that they slice perfectly. Don't they look awesome? So they've got that gorgeous pink inside. Perfect for that salad. Right, so let's put the lettuce first. We want a nice border or a base for the salad. Then our couscous will go on top of that. And this should have cooled by now, so it's perfect. Then we'll arrange our avo in a fan like that. We want it to look appealing, beautiful. We want them to want to eat it. Okay, and a few slices of onion, because then everybody can pick out what they want or don't want. Let's just put the tuna on. And just fan it so that you can see that beautiful pink inside. Okay. Absolutely perfect. And we just want to drizzle that over the top. And if you don't toss the salad, then it doesn't get too wet. So if we just leave it, all the flavors will go into the veggies and it will just be perfect when we're ready to eat. And that's my seared tuna salad. When we come back, we're going to finish our meal with a mango and lychee sorbet and take our breads out of the oven. I can't wait. Welcome back to Food in a Flash. We are making a delicious ladies' lunch. We've made some tomato soup, a seared tuna salad, and we're finishing off this meal with a beautiful mango sorbet. I've also made some lychee sorbet and delicious health breads. So let's make the sugar syrup to go for that mango sorbet. What I've got is ordinary sugar and water. This is the base of most sorbets. So it's generally equal quantities of sugar to water. All you want to do is bring it to a boil to literally dissolve the sugar. You're not making a caramel, so you don't want it to boil for hours and thicken because then it's going to be too hard to mix with your fruit. Now what I like to do is use anything that's available, especially fruit that's sitting in my fridge and I'm not sure whether the children are going to eat it or not. So I use peaches or plums or nectarines or raspberries or whatever I've got, and it's just got to be cut up into chunks. Right, my sugar syrup has cooled, so let's put it all together. And this is a great thing to do, like when mangoes are going out of season, I puree them and freeze them. And then you can make a sorbet through the winter. It's quite fun. Perfect. Okay, we're going to add a bit of lime juice, because I know it needs it. Okay, sugar syrup goes in. Blend. So what we're going to do is put this into this flat dish. Perfect. So let's put this in the freezer and let's take the one out that I've already made. So this is the mango that I've already frozen. We need to cut it into chunks before we put it into the food processor because it needs to be small quantities to make it nice and smooth. You want to soften it a bit if it's very, very hard, because if the machine works too much, then what's going to happen is that the the sorbet is going to become quite runny and you won't be able to scoop it. And often what I do is I add a little bit of egg white, just raw egg white, into the mixture when I'm actually processing it, because that actually makes it fluffy. This particular one does not need it, but some fruits are quite icy, like a pineapple or the lychee. So then you want to just put some egg white. It'll just fluff the whole thing up. Now look how simple that is. So we want to do it in batches. You can use a big machine if you like as well, but this works perfectly for me. And then I've already made some lychee, so I'll grab that one from the freezer. So here's my delicious lychee one, also ready to go. And what we're going to do is just scoop it into this beautiful bowl. And you can see that it's going to make the most gorgeous finish and complete our meal with our mango. This is quite soft, so I would actually put it back for a little bit just to get it nice and firm. Beautiful. Let's do our lychee with a bit of mango mixed in. We're just going to pile it into this bowl, but we just want to pick up the colors and make it look really edible. So we're just going to decorate it with the berries, some raspberries, and that's like fruit salad in a bowl. So every lady wants something light. And you know what, there's nothing nicer than finishing off a meal with a sweet taste on your tongue. For me, I'd rather go straight to dessert personally. I'm just slicing through the strawberry just to fan it and give it a nice look. So you just literally go down the strawberry almost to the stalk. And let's take our breads out the oven and check what's happening. I'm sure they're ready. I can smell them. My breads are fantastic. They're brown, delicious, and we're going to eat them straight away while they're piping hot. So I'm going to take them out of the tin. They are so hot, I just need to be careful. But you can see how easily they come out. Onto my board. Nothing nicer than a fresh bread. And you can slice these as well. There we go. Perfect. So that's our delicious ladies' lunch. We have a tomato soup, some mini health breads, a seared tuna salad, and finishing off with a mango and lychee sorbet. Absolutely perfect for ladies. Please join me next week when I'll show you how to use leftovers in a delicious way. What to do with chicken, what to do with vegetables, and what to do with your leftover meat.
You've seen her do it on TV. Now learn to cook with Sharon at one of her fun interactive cooking workshops. From the very basics of cooking to full dinner party meals or cakes and bakes, Sharon Glass has a cooking class or workshop just for you. For more information or to book a spot, visit www.thehomechannel.co.za and follow the link to Food in a Flash. And for one lucky Home Channel viewer, Sharon is offering an interactive workshop for you and 7 of your friends. All you have to do to enter is log on to our website, fill in the online entry form, and you could stand a chance to win this great prize. Entries for the competition close on Sunday the 15th of July.